It's just not a mandate for us right now. We're focusing on getting this project permitted and then getting the demonstrating economics of the project first.
Talking nickel here with Flying Nickel, and John Tesla recently announced a lithium refinery project in Texas. So do you also see auto companies in the future moving into the nickel space along the supply chain?
Absolutely, and they have to. Because not only nickel is hard to find with limited supply, but the entire infrastructure, facilities, and processing facilities are non-existent to process the nickel required in the EV space. And in addition, processing plants in China are not acceptable to the auto manufacturers in North America. So we're being told in no uncertain terms that our nickel cannot have any Asian elements to it. And the only way to do that is to create new processing facilities in North America in order to process the nickel coming out of the ground in North America.
And John, do you have an overview for us on the midstream in North America in terms of pipeline? Are there projects currently being developed in this space?
There are existing processing facilities in Sudbury and also mostly in Sudbury and in Voisey's Bay. Other than that, there's no nickel refineries or smelters in United States. Biden administration is openly talking about and prioritizing opening nickel refinery facilities and nickel processing facilities. Tesla is talking about building battery facilities in Ontario, and come with that would have come potentially investments for Tesla potentially to build nickel refining facilities. You have the Koreans, LG and POSCO is committed to spending several $1 billion building battery and nickel plants in Ontario. And as I said earlier on, we've been talking to auto manufacturers, and they're only beginning to understand the bottlenecks. It's not just getting nickel out of the ground, but the entire supply chain from getting the rock out of the ground to producing the nickel required to go into the batteries. This entire supply chain will have to be refurbished, have to be upgraded, and they're next to non-existent in North America right now.
Okay, and just to follow up on this midstream, we know that a battery factory takes 12 to 18 months to get that up and running. A mine takes anywhere between 5 to 12 years, depending on the project. So how does that compare for the midstream? How many years are we looking at?
The auto and battery guys, buyers, they have some time, because it takes less time to build a processing facility than to build a mine. However, the caveat is there will be carbon emissions out of these plants. And then depending on how cooperative and supportive of the government, the permitting process can also be quite lengthy and tedious, and could have some potential challenges in getting these plants up and running. However, it takes less time and money to get a plant permitted and into operation, generally speaking. However, the time is running out. If the mine is going into production in 5 years, they need to get the plant going within the next couple of years, for example.
And John, in some of these other battery material spaces, we're seeing junior mining companies also try to break into that midstream processing. Is this something that might be in the future of Flying Nickel as well?
Possibly, but we're trying to stay within our core competency because the technology are evolving so much. For example, for EVs, for nickel that go into the EV batteries, there's now technology to bypass the step to produce pure nickel. So you can have intermediary nickel product that goes directly into the battery instead of having to produce 99% nickel. But the problem is the technology evolves so quickly. The standards of the input and the output changes. It does seem very attractive for a mining company to sort of branch out vertically, because there's a lot of margin to be captured in that processing part of the business. But at this point, I think we're staying put right now. First of all, we're not a technology company, and secondly, the technology is evolving so much. Even though there's quite a bit of margin that can be captured and acquired by going midstream, it's just not a mandate for us right now. We're focusing on getting this project permitted and then getting the demonstrating economics of the project first.